Y'all, it's Jess and welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to be looking at the Never Ever Met season 1 episode 4. So we start off with Millie and Greg. They're talking about the jacuzzi scene. I'm glad they're talking about it because I was kind of like a little taken aback by that scene last episode as well, because Millie felt like he was talking, and then all of a sudden, like, they were talking, all of a sudden, like, he just went in for the kiss, and it's like, whoa, slow your roll. um she just felt like it wasn't appropriate. It was kind of awkward, and I can understand that. So she was expressing that she felt like he's rushing, and he felt like they're not rushing into things, like they're taking their time and stuff. But it didn't take a lot. It didn't take a lot for them to like get things back on track, which I'm happy, because it seems like they talked it out. Cool, they move on. They're moving forward, and that's all it is. Communication, people, communication, and they communicated. So then we see Diamond is expressing like how they feel about Chris and Jody connection, like how they have like this little thing or whatever. And you know what, y'all? It could very well just be a platonic relationship. However, I don't get that vibe. Well, let me stop before Chris come on here and try to call me insecure. Because I swear, this whole episode, he just kept saying Cindia was insecure. She's insecure. It's her insecurities. It's her insecurities. Stop it. Stop it. Because now I feel like it's like you're giving this woman a reason I feel like he's giving her a reason to feel like that, because you're over here telling you have a connection with this lady, and of course it could be a friendship connection. Connections could be all kinds of things or whatever, but it's like y'all connection is a little different. So anyway, Diamond and Millie, they talked to Cindia about like the whole Chris and Jody thing. They just let her know, like, nobody should be all up in your man's face, right? And they shouldn't be touching all on your man and stuff. And so they was like, do you want to go talk to Jody? She was like, well, I'll talk to Chris. And they was like, okay, cool, because if you talk to Jody, she gonna pop off, which is gonna prompt us to pop off, okay? And Millie was like, because I don't care. I don't care. And Diamond was like, because I lose my religion real quick. And I'm like, okay, y'all. Calm down, because we know Cindia, it looks like, it feels like, it seems like she's not the type to do anything like that, like to comfort. She's not confrontational. And there's some people out there that's like that, but she went to go try to talk to Chris. And honestly, y'all, I feel like Cindia, I feel like she's a really nice person. But I feel like she kind of lets him get away with too much. That's just my opinion. And we'll talk about that in just a second. So yeah, so they talked to her about that. So then, Chris and Cindia, they go and talk. And he feels like Jody and him, they're not doing things to cause all of this conversation about them. Which I feel like they are, honestly. I mean, that's my opinion. Then he had the nerve to call Cindia jealous. And I was like, really? You feel like Cindia is jealous? Well, what are you doing to make her feel like she's jealous? Let's look at your actions, Chris. Let's take a look at it, So he calls her jealous, and he just feels like the women are putting things in her head. And I'm like, no, I feel like you're putting things in her face, because I see what you're doing. We see how you moving, you and Jody, and I don't care what you say. I feel like you and Jody, y'all, there is something that might be there. So then, like, as they're conversing about the situation, he calls Jody in. I'm like, why are we doing this? If I came to you as my man, let me we having this conversation. I can go talk to her at any time. So, Cindia, she don't say much. She just, she's just sitting there just with the little face. She doesn't look happy to me. That's one thing I wanted to say. Cindia does not look happy. She looks like she is miserable. And I don't care what you say. This lady does not look like she wants to be there with him. She don't look like she want to be with him. She just looks sad. And I'm like, girl, it's okay to leave. If you're not happy, then leave. But then we'll talk about that in just a second as well. So then, Aaron J, aka AJ as I call him, he says he feels like Chris and Jody are just friends. He's like, he has a lot of female friends. And I'm like, I bet you do. I bet you do. So yeah, he feels like they're just friends or whatever. It's like nothing going on between them, Jody and Chris. And I'm like, I just don't see. And that's I don't have an issue with AJ, but I guess like my thing is as well, like, you and your girl, y'all don't even have a connection. Y'all swear y'all up and down that y'all do, but I don't even feel it. I just, and we're gonna talk about it as well. Like, there is nothing to me. There is nothing there. Like, I just don't see it. I can't even see like homeboy, homegirl. What I see is strangers. I just see stranger danger. I don't see it. But that if you say y'all got a connection, that's fine. That's all fine and dandy. But I'm like, okay. So then Chris says he feels like this is like middle school stuff, and the women don't like Jody, and of course Jody feels the same. She's like, she just When she talks very loud and very passionate every time she talks. I don't feel like I ever heard her talk calmly. It's always like this. And it's like, okay, girl, okay. You don't have to yell. We hear you. We hear you, girl. But yeah, I feel I don't feel like well, I feel like Chris and Lord, Jody, I just feel like there is something there between them. So moving on. Taronda has like this couple check. She arrives at the house and she has like this couple check in or whatever. And so she's speaking to who's she speaking to? Millie and Greg. So, Greg speaks very highly of her. Like, they're talking about their relationship and stuff. And in Millie's confessional, Millie says, like, she has to speak to Greg about her past and she's nervous. So I'm over here like, okay, girl, what? We all got a past, but what is your past that you're so nervous to speak about? Like, what happened? Are you okay? Do we need to worry about you? Is somebody after you? Like, what's going on? So then, she talks about, or she mentions that her sister, Sophia, is coming and then his mom is coming. He was like, I don't really introduce anybody to my mom or my sisters or whatever unless you have to be somebody special, and I understand it and I love that. So then moving forward, we see that Chris gathers the guys and he's asking them about the situation with him and Jody. And Aaron H says like he kind of disagrees with his actions towards Jody. It's like, it is coming off like y'all got something going on, and he's just like, no, like, she's the only one I connect with or whatever. I'm like, did you mean to say that, or did you mean to say she's the only one besides the person that you came here with that you connect with? Because if you saying she's the only one that you connect with, what is that telling you? Anyway, so he's like, that's just my homegirl or whatever, and so Aaron H was like, I used to say that too with girls. Like when I wanted something from them, if I wanted them or whatever, I would say, oh, you just my homegirl. But in the back of my mind, I knew what I wanted. And I'm like, see, and he was like, see, but that's what it's like. That's where Cindy, like, and Cindia's insecure. Like he calls her insecure. And I'm like, oh my God, you're like Chris. I just, this boy is just, I cannot with him, honestly, y'all. And then, of course, AJ steps in to defend Chris' actions. Like, it's just they friends or whatever. And I'm like, AJ, sit this out. Because I don't want to hear nothing from you. I don't even feel like you need to be there, honestly. I don't feel like him and Jody have anything going on. Like, I never see them together except when it's time for them to do, like, something that they have to do, but they have to be in the same room. Like, because when have y'all seen them besides when they're doing activities? When have y'all seen them together besides the first date? Do we ever see them hanging out? I don't. Anyway. So yeah, Chris just feels like Jody was the only person who came to his defense on the first night. So he was like, that's my homegirl. Like, we cool, we good or whatever. And I'm like, okay, because remember, I think they was talking about the first night that it was there. He was saying like, it takes him like a year and a half, something like that to trust you or whatever. But I'm a smash on the first night. I'm trying to smash in the first few seconds. I'm like, oh my God, you are just get off of my TV screen. So he says that, and she's like, if women dated more like men, women won't be hurt. And I was like, okay, girl. Okay, all right. And so they dap it up or whatever. And I said, okay. Because she said, I'm trying to smash in the first month. Okay. All right. We hear you. So moving forward. Oh my God, I'm so stupid. Okay, so yeah, CeCe and Brandon, they do like their couples check-in. Honestly, y'all, I thought they was getting ready to dip on out of there because Brandon was talking about like things that turn him off, and he said, very calmly in the most Brandonist way, he said, I don't like, what turns me off is that you don't listen when I'm talking. And then she just went in with the whole like aggressiveness. She's like, you're full of shit. And I'm like, whoa. And Taronda was like, ooh, right. I made the same face, sis. I made the same face. And I guess she feels like he doesn't practice what he preached. And I'm like, girl, is he not listening to you? Well, I mean, because I didn't even know he could talk. Because she always is so like cutting him off and stuff. And so she stood like, she just said she always stand on her own. Like, she had to take care of herself. So she has like this really hard exterior or whatever. And Taronda's like, you gotta let that go. And, I get it. This how you grew up. But she's like, me too. But you're gonna have to let that go. You're gonna have to be soft, sis, and let him lead, let him do his thing. Because I'm witnessing this right now. Like look how you talking to him. You can't be, girl, how old is she? She 43? I don't know, she 40 something. And you still be talking to this man like this. Girl. So then Brandon reveals that he don't see anything romantically. In this moment, he don't see any romantically with her anymore. In this moment. And I was like, ooh, so are they about to check up out of here? What's about to happen? So maybe they'll be able to get that spark. I would be like surprised if they're able to get that, like, that spark back between them. I would be really shocked. But you know what? And it would make, if it works for them, I would love that for them, because I actually do. I like both of them. Honestly, I do. But I think that as people, we always have something we need to work on. And so she's going to be in a relationship. I really do feel like she needs to work on that, like letting that hardness go. Because when you with your man, girl, I would be the softest. I would be so. Like I said before, take that hardness out there when you go out in them streets. But when you come in this house, when we together, I'm letting that go. Okay. Anyway, so then we see Jody and AJ. They check in, and Jody brings up the situation between, like, Chris and her from the house with Taronda, and then AJ says, like, he doesn't get that vibe, because she was like, well, how do you feel or whatever? And she's like, I don't get that vibe. I got a lot of female friends or whatever. And I'm like, I know you do. And so Taronda was like, y'all remind me of me and my bestie. Like, he sleep in one room, I sleep in the other room. Like, is there an actual connection between y'all? And so they was like, he was like, yeah, or whatever. And I'm like, what kind of connection is it? Like a stranger connection? I'm so sorry, but they just seem like strangers. So then Jody was like, it takes me I'm a little slower at forming an intimate connection. But then I was like, didn't you just say in the first day that you trying to smash in the first month? Okay. But I guess she was leaving the sex out of it. I guess, like, that wasn't part of her. I guess that's not part of the forming of an intimate connection. Okay. Hey. Who am I? I was a little confused by that. I was like, okay then, Jody. I mean, I guess. All right. So then we move on to, because that's what I was going to say. So remember I was talking about, we're not going to move on just yet. When I was talking about them or whatever, I feel like I've said it enough, but I'm going to say it again. I just feel like Jordan, why do I keep calling her Jordan? Jody and AJ, I don't feel like they rock with each other. Honestly, it feels like, oh, there's a casting opportunity. Let me go out here and try to meet somebody so we can be on TV. That's what it seems like to me. Like, you just grab somebody off the street, say, hey, come do this show with me. And let's get this money. Or this fame or whatever you're trying to grab. It doesn't seem like they've been talking long enough to, like, it doesn't seem real to me. That's what I'm trying to say. It just seems like I put an ad out there and you answer, and here we are. I could be wrong. I could be. But I don't think I am. Anyway. Okay, so then Millie's sister, Sophia, arrives, and this was like a nice little moment, I guess you can say. It didn't get emotional, though. But we found out that, Millie, because Sophia was telling her things that, that Millie deserves, and she gets emotional. And then, Millie expressed, like, I feel like she was saying something along the lines like, is he going to be able to love me? Because basically what I've been through and stuff, we found out that she had unconsented sex or whatever. I don't know if I can say the R word on here, but she did not consent to it. So yes, she was that. And I felt so bad. I'm like, oh my gosh. So that must have been something from her past that she was saying. Maybe, well, I think it maybe this. I mean, just that alone is horrible. That is horrible. So I think that's what it was, and I think she is nervous to tell him that maybe the whole situation or whatever. So I do hope at some point when they do talk about it, if they talk about it, I'm pretty sure Greg will be very understanding. And I think that maybe it's just so hard for her to talk about. So, that is a very touchy subject, I will say. So anyway, moving on, Greg and Sophia, they have a talk. Millie introduced Sophia to Greg. And so Greg is like, oh, Sophia wants to talk to Greg one-on-one. And, Greg just tells her about all the things he loves about her. And, Sophia tells him some things on how he can really get her. And, Sophia actually feels like they're on the same page. And I love that. I'm glad to hear that. Good. So then Greg moms come in and meets Millie. And Greg tells us that he's only introduced one other woman to his mom, and that was like 6 years ago. So he doesn't really, like he said before, he's not going to bring everybody around his mom and his sisters or whatever. Like, you're not going to meet them. If it's something serious, then sure. But if it's not, nah, you ain't going to know these people exist. So then, he tells his mom, like, what he likes about her. His mom is just so thankful. She was like, I was worried about you, baby, that you wasn't going to settle down. But I'm so happy to hear this. And you really like her. And Millie meets his mom, or thanks her for raising him because she did a great job. And I'm pretty sure as a mother, she felt that. I know she was like, yes, I know I did. I did great. Job well done, mother. Job well done. So then we move on to Chris and Cindia check-in. Y'all, this had me stressed. I feel like every time Chris comes on my TV screen, I'm just gonna have to mute my TV or something, because okay, so then Cindia is talking, and she talks about the situation, like how he gets along with Jody a lot, and Chris says that Cindia has these mood changes, and the girls are saying things like they're putting things in her head, and Cindia says, she wants to communicate more with him, and she be trying to talk to him, and he's like, basically this is what got me, y'all, and I just really wanted to throw my AirPods at my TV, because he was like, he feels like her feelings aren't valid. And the way that Toronto looked at him, I said, sis, jump on him for all of us, because what? You don't feel like her feelings are valid, but your feelings are, right? Some of her feelings aren't valid, but all your feelings are valid, right? And I'm so glad Toronto said, like, no, her feelings are valid, just like your feelings are valid. He was like, yeah, no, and he was standing on business when it comes to that. And I was like, see, no. That's not how this works. He was not trying to let up. He was really trying to stand on saying that her feelings, like some of her feelings aren't valid. And I'm like, ma'am, Cindia, baby, is this somebody that you want to be with? Are you sure? Because to say that some of my feelings are invalid, that alone says a lot. I'm not trying to be with somebody that's like, that's saying my feelings aren't valid. If I feel this way, let's go on. So yeah, he feels like that. And then he feels like, cause she was like, okay, so we see that we agree that you guys need to work on communication. He was like, I mean, she just has a lot of insecurities, and Cindy is in up there, shedding tears and stuff. And I'm like, here we go. He keeps on. Let's talk about your insecurities, Chris. You're the one that said that you can't trust women. You're the one that's saying that you do this all, like, you scream insecurities to me. You can sit up here and say all day long that you're not, or that you have this, or that I get women, I get that. To me, that screams insecurities when you have to talk about this and how you carry yourself. You can say whatever you want, but to me, that says a lot. To me. So, yeah, he feels like they don't have to work on communication, and then had the nerve to say he feels like they have the best chemistry in the house. Child, good night. With who? You or Jody? You must think Jody is sitting next to you, because that's clearly Cindia, and I ain't feeling that y'all have like the best chemistry. If it is, it must be caught off camera, because I have not seen it. What I have seen in the beginning, the first date, I was like, oh my God, I like that. But then when the first night came, when you were around everybody, I was like, oh heck no. And Cindia, you're willing to put up with this? Because he even he says that she's I mean, he did mention some things that he liked about her, and that they're good or whatever. And he was like, this is somebody I could be with long term. And I'm like, I honestly feel like she'll be a good wife. I think that she would be somebody that's good for somebody long term, just not for him. But then it's like, here she goes. And she's like, I feel like I can see a future with him. Really? Are we sure? Okay, all right. Maybe you see something clearly that I don't see, and that's okay, because I'm not the one that's dating him. Good for you. So Toronto offers them relationship experts or whatever, and he was like, we don't need it. And so I'm like, yes, you do. You do. And she's like, Cindia is like, you know what? If he said, well, she wants to go, then, I'll go or whatever. And she said she'll think about it. Girl, go. Just go. I don't know if they don't want to go. Like, is it because you're scared to find out that y'all not supposed to be together? I don't know, because I've had a person tell me, like, when they was going through marriage counseling, they was literally about to get married. They was going through marriage counseling. And they found out they just weren't compatible for each other, and they broke up. They broke off the engagement and everything. And I was like, oh, that's rough. I don't ever want to get to that point. But if it has to get to that point, good. Because that lets me know, like, I did not make that mistake and that my person is out there somewhere. I don't know where, but, you know. Anyway, the point is that they were offered it. He don't want it, but she said she'll think about it. And to me, she kind of comes off as like... And this is, I'm not saying this, I'm not being rude or anything, but she just kind of, she comes off as like, well, it's whatever you want to do kind of thing, you know? Like, I don't know what is a right term for that, because it's like, I see, it's on the back of the tip of my tongue, but it's just not coming out. But anyway, she kind of comes off as like, I'ma just go along with the flow instead of putting my foot down. You know, because she definitely didn't put her foot down when her and Jody Dunn was talking. She didn't put her foot down with Chris. Like, she's not put, to me, it's not, there's no foot being put down. It's just like a little tap, and then that's it, you know? But anyway, he gets on my nerves. I can't stand him. I cannot stand him. So, anyway, moving on. So now we have like this little kitchen scene. I call it the kitchen scene. Jody asked Chris, you know, how'd it go? And of course, he's over there throwing shade, saying, you know, it's just and people getting in her head and saying stuff because they're jealous. And I'm like, oh my God, Chris, shut up. Nobody is jealous. Who is jealous? Jealous of what? Because I don't think anybody would want a relationship like y'all. Okay. So then, you know, Diamond jumps in, and so that's Jody. Jody jumps in as well. But Diamond is, you know, basically saying what everybody's been talking about. But nobody else was backing her up. Her own man was just sitting there not even saying nothing. And Diamond said she just felt like, where's my backup? Like, nobody's going to back me up. Like, I'm literally, like, out here by myself, and you're not going to say nothing? Y'all not going to help me? And so, you know, Jody feels like Diamond is the one, like, she's just spreading the lie or helping spread the lie about Jody and Chris. Honestly, I feel like with Chris, you know, Chris was saying something. He was like, I'm not going to argue with you. And she was like, no, it's not arguing. It's facts or whatever. Like, yo, man, yeah, they literally was just sitting there like this, going back and forth, like, I wish y'all could see me with my head, because they was like, what? Like, nobody wasn't helping her. And so, and I can understand how you feel like, dang, we was sitting up here talking about this. It's like, I'm bringing it up. And then Aaron H is like, why is it that you guys always have to bring up this stuff while we're in the kitchen? Aaron, be quiet. Not Aaron H, Aaron J. And I was like, just go sit down. Sit down. So, you know, Diamond and Aaron H, her and her dude, they're talking. And she was like, expressing how nobody was speaking up with her. And Aaron H gonna say, you know, I ain't scared. But where were you? Where were you? Where were you? You wasn't there speaking up. You was literally just there looking back and forth between the two, Chris and Diamond, and then Diamond and Jody. You weren't saying nothing, Aaron. You literally sat there and let your girl like go back and forth with Aaron H or Aaron J, Jody, and what's his name? Is it Chris? Not Chris. Yeah, Chris. And Aaron, yeah, I said him already. So I'm like, I mean, even Cindia, she just was sitting there just looking. She just looks so sad, girl. Oh God. Y'all, this episode, woo. Anyway, so yeah. So they fixed dinner. Dinner is done. And the four of them, Diamond, I think it was Diamond, Shay, Aaron H, and Josh, they went to the boo-boo room and did their own thing or whatever. And of course, Kristen felt some type of way. They was like, y'all not gonna come eat with us. And they left. They went to the boo-boo room to, you know, on their own, because they was like, they don't want to be around that energy or whatever. And because, you know, Diamond, you know, the whole kitchen thing. So yeah, they went there, and Diamond was like, apparently they was in there talking about the situation, the four of them. And Diamond was just like, she said she just felt alone because she was standing alone. Sorry. She felt alone because she was, you know, standing there and, you know, talking to them, but then like nobody had their back. But here they are talking about the whole situation. It's just like, where were y'all at when I was down there, you know, talking? Why nobody was defending me? Nobody was helping me. I literally was down there I literally had my back against the wall, and y'all was just up there just looking. Y'all should have had my back. So it's interesting to see how this gonna go. But I tell you one thing, if that was me and I did all of that and nobody was backing me up, I won't say no more. I won't say nothing else. I'll be mad at my man, because I clearly see, honestly, something about Aaron H gets me. I don't know what it is, but something about him kind of gets me like, you know, maybe it's just me. I don't know. But we're going to see next week, because I see next week they get into, well, her sister, Diamond's sister, I guess, or mom or somebody is saying something along the lines that they don't, he's not for her. But we'll see. Anyway, thank you guys for joining me today. That's all I have for y'all. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down below in the comments, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.